Well, here we are, beautiful New Hampshire morning. I'm going looking for old home sites, cellar holes, farms, whatnot. I have not been out here in 10 years. I know it's been 10 years. And I'm walking up the old road, and I spotted this, which looks like a travel path of sorts. Don't know how old it is, but it might be the off-point break I'm looking for. When we were in here 10 years ago, we went up this road. Old discontinued road. Cellar holes are far and few between. And then, on the other side of that ridge line, there's another road. So, in between, there's a lot of space. That's why I was looking for something like this going in. Generally, when you have that much space, land out here, it's probably a good chance somebody was settled. Don't know, could be wrong, could just be a big gap in between the two roads with terrible ground. But here we go. Into the unknown. I mean, I'm sure this was used for logging at some point, but might be an old wagon trail. The odd and interesting thing about where we are is these people didn't stack too many rocks. Even along the roadsides, it's rather odd. But if they were farming, they definitely would have been moving them, so anything that stands out will be great. Yeah, I'm getting right down into a gap of here's where all the water ends up. I don't know if I like it out here. It's gloomy. Although it's a nice day, it just feels, I don't know. There's definitely a feel to it. But the ground has seemed to improve. And is that a pile of rocks right there? Sure is. In fact, I think it's a cellar hole. So apparently, that was a cart path, wagon trail. Loggers reused, but it just led us here. Crazy. Well, here's the big thing, the big question. Has it been detected? Well, we're going to find out real quick. Sounds like iron. Well, 2 loops around, quiet. I had to get into the chimney stack to hear anything. Big chunk of iron. Well, I don't know about this one just yet. Maybe. We got something in the caving of the hole. That's different. That's a button. Just really different from the norm. Glad I found it though. Well, this might be one of those, as we've experienced recently, where the stuff is inside the footprint of where the house was. Well, I will say, finding this gives hope that there's more out here, because it is a large gap in between the two roads, and out here it's just going to be cart paths. Chunk of lead. No. That's all we're going to get out of the cellar hole footprint. I just walked around, nothing except over in the back corner, a little clue, a lot of bottles and cans from probably the 1970s, and a fire pit, which means this was fairly accessible decades ago. And you can tell just by looking, we're on a shelf and it looks down in every direction. So I need to find the wagon trail, the cart path, and see where it continues on. I don't want to go too crazy far because I'm already out there, but we must see. I think this is the route we want. Sure is hard to tell. It headed this way. As you can see, it's not in good condition. And again, for whatever reason, they didn't stack rocks out here. At least not much. Well, the path has gotten better. The land has gotten slightly better. But you know how it goes. There could be anything just out of view. All I'm looking for is rocks. Stacked rocks. Guess we'll take a little look inside. Finally, but it's incomplete. There's more over there. Well, it's something to start with. Well, our wall is a T. It's about 100 feet long this way and about 50 feet that way. It's been the only wall I've seen. It does kind of have a home site feel to it, but I'm not picking anything up. And there are a bunch of smaller piles kicking around. Just keep walking. See, and it's things like this that drive you crazy, but also motivate you. 40 feet of wall, stacked rocks on a rock, in decent ground. That's not stuff they typically did out at the tail end of a massive pasture. And you know you're on an old farm. And there's probably not a cellar hole. We're probably looking for a chimney stack of stones, kind of like the first one. Or get lucky and start hearing a nail iron. But just the fact that that's right there is enough to make me keep looking. Well, in all of this, one nail, and I can't figure it out. I'm gonna have to come back with the guys, put some more eyeballs on it, and when the leaves are gone. I have way too many signs out here. Big lead projectile, not even old. That's it. Probably halfway back. I opted for the non-trail old road route. And this is it. I'll tell you though, there was an awful lot of stacked rocks up there. Even walking away, they were all over the place. This looks like it was just logged a long time ago. Well, that's it. I made it to the end. Getting out. One button, one cellar hole, but a lot of activity. And again, two proper roads, probably a mile apart. There were people living out in the middle. It's just too big, and it's pretty rough. Not too many walls, except for that one section, so it'll have to wait. But this is what we do. You gotta get out, you gotta scout. And at least we know there's potential out there. That was 3.5 hours. Crazy big. All right, thanks for watching. See you next time. We'll see what happens next time.